Up on the top of the orbit, West Ham fan TV, Nicky Hawkins, joined by ex-West Ham left-back Scott Minto. How are you, Scott?
How are you doing, mate? You okay?
Yeah, really well. You're looking well. You're looking like you can.
Thank you.
You can have a game out there.
Well, I couldn't do it 20 years ago. I can't do it now.
You definitely could, mate. I tell you what, I've seen worse, that's for sure. What did you make of today's game, mate? It was 2-2 draw.
Yeah.
A little bit of controversy. I think that was a fair result in the end.
I think it probably was a fair result. I don't really want to talk about the ref, to be honest, because I don't think he was fair. I thought West Ham were the better side in the first half. I knew Newcastle would come on strong in the second. And the first 15 minutes of that second half, they were good. And then you're sort of thinking, okay, you look into the bench, changes need to be made. I agree with the changes that you know, the Messiah made. They could have come a little bit earlier, but they're a good side, Newcastle. And, you know, you look at them and what they've done against PSG and what Eddie Howe has done just generally since he's come in. As I say, they showed a lot of character in that second half. So for West Ham to make the subs, get that sort of late equaliser lay on, I do think that was a fair result. And I think that's going into the international weekend. If you look at the fixture list, what happened in the summer,
Yeah.
you know, you're looking at those fixtures and you come into these sort of October international break and you're thinking, if they're going to be where they are, absolutely would have settled that. Don't forget, only lost 2 games, and that's Man City and up at Anfield as well. So I think it's been a really good season, both domestically and in Europe.
Yeah, listen, I think he's got Europe wrapped up. It seems to have the magic touch in Europe. I mean, that is I said this the other night on a post-match show, that's a really underestimated result out there because no fans. It's a tough place to go. They're a well-drilled side. They beat Bayern Munich in the Cup last season. They're not a bad side at all. And to get a win away, I think that's fantastic. There's one player I want to touch on today because I think he's been one of the sort of unsung heroes of the season, and being a left back yourself, I think it's Emerson. I think he's been absolutely magnificent. As I said, I wasn't that impressed with him last season. I think he struggled at times. Cress was our first choice, but the bit of skill that he done today to take it round the keeper, set up the first goal. How have you made his performance? What have you made of his performances this season?
Yeah, look, I saw him at Chelsea and I thought he wasn't quite good enough or wasn't putting in the good enough performances. And then he came to West Ham and I thought, again, not quite, you know, at what point are you going to show what you're capable of? I thought the end of last season he did really well. I was out in Prague. Love that.
He was man of the match,
I thought
wasn't
he was very good indeed. And he's carried on his performances. I think what he's done is he's always been a very athletic player, but he's defensively shored up. So good going forward. Now he's solid defensively. The goal that he showed, first of all, the run that he did.
Yep.
Second of all, the touch round Pope. And third of all, the vision to realise that actually I'm not going to score from that angle, but I can see that Thomas Souček is there. And the cutback was brilliant and it was a simple finish. You know, fair play to Thomas for being there in the first place. But it was all about Emerson, that goal. So I think, thank you very much for bringing up a left back.
No problem.
Because it's not the sexiest position in the world.
I think it's a very important position.
I think it's a very underrated position.
Yeah,
I think we've seen, you know, Pep play Bernardo Silva. I think we've seen other managers put sort of midfielders. You know, we've seen Amrabat play left back as well.
Yeah.
We've also seen that actually, if you're not a proper left back, if you're not a proper full back, the team can lose out. So, Emerson's done really well.
He's done really well. Listen, as an ex-player yourself, the likes of the influence of like Lucas Paquetá seems to be radiating through the squad at the minute. It seems to be giving everyone a little boost. But we've got some real quality out there. As a player, do you feel that in the changing room? When you've got, you know, game winners, you know, Paquetá that can, you know, just sort of spin on a dime and put the ball through, you know, the eye of a needle. People like Kudus now that is, you know, really took to the game today. Do you feel that as a player? Do you think we've got a chance here?
Well, you know, I'll go back to when I was at West Ham. You know, you got Paolo Di Canio, you got Jermaine Defoe, you got Joey Cole, you got Mickey Carrick, you got Trev Sinclair. You know, go back even a little bit earlier when I first joined the club, you know, with Rio and Frank. You've got some quality players that can make a real difference. Now, they will look around the dressing room right now and they'll say, we've got some great attacking talent. I think defensively they've shored up. I think the money they've used from Deck's sale, while you're sort of thinking, you're going to spend. It just takes longer nowadays. In an ideal world, they come at the beginning of pre-season. So you'd have the whole of pre-season for the new players to know not just what players are like on the pitch, but off the pitch and develop those relationships. Doesn't really happen, but you have to say with Alvarez, with James Ward-Prowse and with Kudus as well, I think that's really money well spent, and I'd love to see Kudus start in the next game
He's
after
gotta
the
be pushing,
international
isn't
break.
he?
Absolutely.
Got to be pushing, surely. Looks well balanced. I mean, I love Deck, and I think world-class player. He's gone on to, to try and win trophies with Arsenal, play at the highest level. But I think he's left us in a good place. It's a well-balanced midfield. You know, what we lacked a little bit last season with perhaps the vision of the past and of Ward-Prowse, and the real steel of Alvarez, who's just there to do one job rather than Rice trying to do everything. It's now freed up Souček to get back into the box. I think we look a well-balanced side.
I think when you look at, if you look at Enzo Fernandez, and if you look at Caicedo, and now you look at Declan Rice, the money's being spent at that kind of almost holding midfielder, where not only can you start attacks, but you can also stop the opposition.
Yeah.
And I think that role is really important. And I think there's not going to be one player that could replace what Deck can do. But as I say, there's money that's been spent. You've got two players in that position almost, but very different players. Alvarez, the holder. You've got James Ward-Prowse, who, as you say, is very good sort of with his vision, but also set pieces, which is so important in today's game. Then you've got Kudos as well. Mavropanos that has come in. I thought he did a decent job in midweek. So the money has been well spent. And absolutely, you look around the dressing room and the players will be thinking, do you know what? We're pretty solid in every position. Maybe bar striker. I think that's the only position where I think West Ham need to try and sort something out.
Yeah, we was just talking about that on our post-match show. I think come January, if we find ourselves in a similar position, if we just invest, I like Solanke. Someone like Solanke, hard-working, a big target man. Maybe someone like Callum Wilson may fit here. He's not playing a lot of Newcastle. But listen, that's for Moisey to sort out in January. It's not, as you say, it's not easy. But Scott, thank you so much for joining us. And I hope to see you again soon. I know you're here for the Everton game, so perhaps we'll catch up again.
Yeah, I'd love to. And can I just say as well, I'm not always asked to talk about in the media about West Ham, but I love it whenever I am. So than's for inviting me in.
No, absolutely, mate.
And I've really enjoyed it.
It's such a pleasure to hear the opinion of an ex-player. We've never played the game, and you guys have. But thank you very much. Go and check out Post-Match Pint right now. Scott, what are you doing these days? You're on TalkSport, aren't you?
TalkSport, TNT, do a bit of Astro TV, which is Malaysia, and Charlton TV as well.
Oh, fantastic.
So, yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah, go and check Scott out on all of these platforms as well. But thank you very much. One thing left to say, come on, you Irons.